You're a fucking embarrassment, and you're gonna end up just like your father!
Is that what you want? Why are you following me? Stay away!
Have you ever felt stuck in life? How hard you try, nothing really changes? This is Ethan, a young man working in a small coffee shop. Every night, he stays there till late, not because he wants to, but because he has no other choice. This has become his life, but it wasn't always like this. A few years ago, Ethan had dreams, big dreams. He was about to get a major promotion. He believed his life was finally about to change. But then, everything fell apart. His boss chose someone else. And just like that, Ethan was forgotten, left behind like he never mattered. And then, the final blow. Sarah left him. She said he would never become anything, that he had no future. So she moved on. He believed he was a loser, someone who would never become anything in life. Her words stayed in his mind, that he started believing them. Slowly, his mental health got worse. He couldn't make proper decisions anymore. He would look at himself and feel completely lost. He didn't know what to do. From behind the window, an old man quietly watches him, calm, silent, almost like he knows something Ethan doesn't. Then one morning, something strange happened. Ethan woke up and saw the same old man sitting right in front of him. Ethan, he was shocked. How did you get inside? The shop was closed, Ethan asked. Ethan, the old man calmly replied, I know you are in pain. Remember this, suffering builds character. Trust God and trust yourself. And suddenly, Ethan woke up again. He looked around, confused. Was it just a dream? For a moment, he couldn't understand what was real. That small spark inside Ethan slowly started to grow. For the first time in a long time, he felt like maybe, just maybe, he could change his life. That same day, he went back home and opened his old laptop. He started searching, drop shipping, trading, online business. He wanted to do something big, but there was a problem. His financial condition was not good. He didn't have enough money to take big risks. The next day, after finishing his shift at the coffee shop, he went to a small library. There, he found a book called Business Strategy. He bought it with the little money he had.
Then one day while working at the coffee shop, he saw someone familiar, someone he never wanted to see again. It was Sarah, the same person who left him, and she was with her new boyfriend. They looked happy together. They were sitting together, holding hands, smiling, as if nothing had ever happened, as if everything in their life was perfect. Ethan tried to ignore them. When they came to order, they stood right in front of him. They looked at him and started laughing. Their expressions were full of mockery. First quietly, then openly. They didn't even try to hide it. He didn't say anything. Then, as they were leaving, Sarah looked straight at him and said, "You will always be poor. You will never improve." She had no belief in him. Good thing I moved on. Those words hit him deeply, more than anything before. He slowly walked outside. He sat down in a quiet corner of the building. Then, he started crying. It was humiliation, something he couldn't ignore, and he couldn't accept it anymore.
Ethan had a vision to build something big, so he started from the ground up, working side by side with the teams to get every detail right. Standing in the park and looking at the plans, he knew this was going to change everything. He watched as his dream, Ethan's coffee shop, slowly came to life right in the heart of the city. There were many lonely, dark nights in his room, just thinking about the future and what it would take to get there. But seeing the shop finally finished and ready for the world made every second of the struggle worth it for him. He took a moment to just sit back and breathe, finally feeling like he had truly made it. He wasn't just the owner. Ethan was behind the counter every day, pouring his heart into every cup while the world started to watch. He stood tall, proud of what he had built, not knowing that his life was about to explode online. One morning, he looked at his phone and couldn't believe it. 1 million views and hearts from people everywhere. He was completely shocked. His small coffee shop had become a viral sensation overnight. Walking through the streets of America felt different now that everyone recognized the face behind the brand. Crowds would gather just to take a photo with him, and it was then he realized how huge this had actually become. Back home in the dark, he was still the same guy, just focused on the next big step for his business. He opened his laptop to see a balance of $0.5 million, a number he once only dreamed of. He couldn't help but smile knowing that his hard work was finally paying off in a massive way. The biggest vloggers started showing up at his door, wanting to see the magic behind the coffee for themselves. He showed them his craft, performing for the cameras and surprising everyone with what he could do. They had never seen anything like it, and soon Ethan's shop was the most talked about spot in the city. Checking his phone one afternoon, he saw a message that would take the business to a whole new level. A global coffee giant wanted to sponsor him, and he knew this was the ultimate game changer. He held his phone in disbelief, feeling a rush of excitement for what was coming next. Soon, Ethan was in a professional studio, the face of a major brand with cameras everywhere catching the moment. The business went from one shop to a massive operation, exporting coffee worldwide as the growth hit the ceiling. Ethan stood on the 15th floor of a skyscraper, looking out at the city he had conquered, while meeting the people at the top. They handed him a suitcase full of success, proving that a simple dream and a black t-shirt can truly go the distance.
Ethan transitioned from a small shop owner to a corporate visionary. He spent his days in sleek offices meticulously planning the expansion of his coffee empire across the entire nation. He was no longer just making drinks, he was leading a revolution, commanding boardrooms with a level of confidence that only comes from true success. It wasn't long before the numbers caught up to his ambition. Inside the headquarters, the digital screens flashed a number most only dream of, $1 billion valuation. Looking at his phone, the reality finally sunk in. He was a billionaire. Success brought a new way of life. Ethan moved from the shop floor to the luxury showroom, picking out the finest supercars and driving down coastal roads at sunset. He arrived at high-profile events with the world watching his every move. His new home became a sanctuary in the sky, a massive penthouse overlooking the city lights. There, he could finally breathe, relaxing by his private pool with a glass of orange juice, reflecting on the journey. But Ethan never forgot his roots. One afternoon, back at his original flagship store, the door opened and the room went silent. He looked up in shock as a legendary figure walked in. It was Bill Gates. The shop erupted in excitement as customers pulled out their phones to capture the moment. The tech giant didn't just come for the coffee, he came for the vision. Right there at the wooden counter, an investment proposal was laid out. With a confident nod, Ethan shook hands with the legend, sealing a partnership that would change the industry forever. By evening, it was the only story on the news. Anchors across the country reported the massive headline, a $2.5 billion investment into Ethan's company. Now, looking out from the top of his own skyscraper, the Ethan's Coffee Tower, he sees a world ready for his brand. From a single shop in the park to a global empire, Ethan's journey had only just begun.